This is the PR Podcast, a show about how public relations helps you tell your story to the world. We talk with great PR practitioners who have the skills, creativity, and just plain savvy to get their clients noticed. Now here's your host, Jody Fisher.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the PR Podcast. I'm Jody Fisher. Thanks for joining us. Well, welcome to 2024. Hope you had a great holiday. Hope you're ready to start off the new year. Hope you had a lot of time to rest, relax, recharge, spend time with friends, family, travel, whatever your thing is over the winter break, the holiday break, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or any of the above or none of the above. Just hope you had a good time. Hope you got to do the things that you wanted to do. Hope you got a chance to, like I said, recharge those batteries, because it's so important to recharge those batteries. We can't be doing great work for our clients. We can't be doing great things in our lives and in our communities if we're not full up on the battery. So hope you got a chance to recharge that, and hope you're ready to go for 2024. We are definitely ready to go for 2024 here on the PR Podcast. We've got a lot of great guests that are lined up to kick off this year. And we want to book more guests throughout the year as well. So make sure you send us a note. Pitch yourself as a guest to the PR Podcast. Send us a note on any of the socials or an email to me, jody@jodyfisherpr.com, and we will see if we can get you booked as a guest. We generally take anyone who's got a decent idea about public relations, about communications, even a little bit of marketing or SEO or what have you. If it has to do with spreading your word through a variety of means, we want to hear from you. I think I've only ever turned down one guest, and that one guest was basically coming on to pitch their product. And we don't mind pitching products as long as they make sense. But that one person just it didn't click. So that's the only guest we've ever turned down. So that's not to say that we take everybody regardless. We want to make sure that we have good conversations, that we're lending to the discourse about what we do on a daily basis, because we also want to share best practices as well as dispel myths. You know, I saw a TikTok from the show's friend and my friend Tanya McKenzie just a couple days ago. She was on all of her socials. You can find her anywhere. And she did a post about misconceptions about PR. There was a little bit about scammers, and this is a big thing of mine. Scammers, emailing unknowing clients, promising them guaranteed media coverage. We all know how well that turns out if you go in on that. But she had a great post talking about basically educating people on what we do. And that's what this show does too. We educate people on what public relations is, as well as, like we always say, share tips and strategies and best practices on how we can do this thing just a little better. Getting kicked off for 2024, let's just talk about what we should be doing as PR people. Number one, I think we need to be planning. We definitely either need to have that 2024 plan in place, or be having that very specific conversation with all of our clients, and having that very specific conversation with the person in the mirror about what you're going to accomplish in 2024. Because as the classic Gen X movie, One Crazy Summer, said, no plan, no attack, no victory. And hit me up on social if you recognize that reference there. Great John Cusack movie. Loved it. But no plan, no attack, no victory. It's so true that you got to know what direction you're going in. Pivot, sure. Adapt, absolutely. Stay nimble, you bet. But make sure you have a vision, and make sure you're planned out for what you want to accomplish this year, both with yourself and with your clients, and then communicate that to them. Be clear with them on where you're taking them. Be clear on where they want to go. Be clear on how you're going to help them get there. Remember that public relations is not a direct line to your cash register, but it should be reflective of the volume of business or the volume of work that your clients are doing, and it should help promote and push that volume. I almost said pump up the volume. Another Gen X reference. But in any case, make sure you have a plan. Make sure you communicate with your clients. Make sure you're updating your lists. Oh my goodness. January is a great time, especially with all the new jobs, right? And the people who might have got new jobs, the journalists that might have jumped from one outlet to the other, new outlets that might be starting up, old outlets that might be closing down. Sad, tear. I hate it when I hear about outlets closing down. Update those lists, update your lists, right? And not because we blast stuff out to lists. At least I hope you're not blasting stuff out to lists. But you are using those lists as reference, right? I mean, lists are a great way to keep track of all the information you need, the contact information you need in one place. There are those reporters you go back to on a regular basis, but you also need to keep track of all those outlets and all those people who are living in all those places. Oh, almost tripped over my chair here in the PR garage. So update those lists. Great time to do it, right? Because people are still coming back. I mean, I'm taping this on January the 8th. People are still getting back in the saddle from the holiday break. So take some time to organize there. So organize your plan, organize your lists. What else you can be doing? Set up a media training session with some of your clients. Again, something that you should do with them at least once a year, I think. It's kind of like batting practice, right? And the best players in the game, pick your game. The best players in the game practice, right? They don't just show up to the game and hope that they win, right? That's what little, T-ballers do, okay? People who are serious about their game practice. And so schedule a media training session with your clients. Get them in front of a camera, do some make-believe interviews, right? Play a reporter, help them brush up their chops on their media training skills. I think January, February is a great time to do that because media opportunities coming around all the time, but you got a fresh frame of mind in the beginning of the year. So put that on the calendar for some point and then keep it on the calendar every year. Maybe it's depending on how busy you are. Maybe it's once a quarter, maybe it's every 6 months, maybe it's once a year, but you got to do it at least once a year. And I would think maybe once every 6 months, maybe not with the same people, but be doing media training sessions because they're really, really helpful. And so there's my advice, those 3 things that we want to talk about, getting ready for 2024, getting off on the right foot, making sure that you are pointed in the right direction. I hope you all have a great year. Thank you so much for supporting the PR podcast here, for listening. Our listenership grows every month. I don't get too wrapped up in the metrics because I do this because I love it, not because I'm trying to promote the podcast itself. But I see the metrics, they grow every month. So thank you so much for being a regular listener to the PR podcast. And please keep listening. Give us your feedback. We want to know what you want to hear. We want to deliver the stuff that is going to be helpful to you in your career, in your work. And so let us know. We could get off the topic of just talking about PR as an example and talk about, how to run a business. If you're a small business owner, how you run your PR business or your communications business. We could talk about, ways that you can promote yourself. If you want to talk about that, we'd love to hear thoughts on that. We always love to hear about tips and strategies for young people getting started in the business. It's so important, especially like we talked about, people having a misconception potentially of what PR people do. Always want to be training the next generation of public relations professionals. And so if you have some advice that you want to pass along to the newbies in our profession, come on and talk about that. But the point is come pitch yourself as a guest. We want to hear your expertise. We want to share your knowledge. We want to make this industry that we all work in just a little bit better. And we want to educate the people who are outside of our industry on what we do and how we can help them best. So thanks everyone for listening. Really appreciate it. Please remember to subscribe to the show, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The PR Podcast, and send us a question or a comment. Our intro is by Christopher Appold. You can find him and his fantastic photography on Instagram at Christopher_APPOLDT. Check him out there and hire him for all your photography needs. You can find me online at Jody Fisher on all the socials and on the web at jodyfisherpr.com. We'll see you next time on the PR Podcast.